Hello and welcome, everyone. Please let me know in the chat if you're able to hear me well. Welcome to our webinar, The Daily Practices to Attract Your Soulmate. And please put an introduction into the chat, letting us know where in the world you're watching from. I love having an international community and seeing where everyone is from. And it looks like we're going to have a great group of people joining us here this evening. I'm so excited that you're here. I'm Jennifer Zendel, a certified Calling in the One coach, supporting singles just like you to manifest and create the relationship of your dreams by clearing out the inner obstacles that have been keeping love away so that you can become magnetic to love and finally manifest your person. I'm also the author of the new book called Dear Beloved, Manifesting Love Journal, The Daily Practices to Attract Your Soulmate. And I'm so excited to tell you more about that book later in the call. We have a fair number of people joining us today who are new to my community, so welcome if you're watching the replay later or if you're just joining us here live, welcome, and I'm so happy you're here. I do want to give you an overview of what we're going to be doing together in our hour here. I'll be sharing with you what I've noticed has been keeping many singles stuck in their attempts for creating love in their lives. And I'm going to be sharing what I've seen are the most powerful practices that singles are needing to change in their love lives. I'll be sharing with you exactly what those practices are, and I think singles need to be engaging regularly these practices so that you can attract and sustain the kind of love that you desire. I'm also going to be guiding you through one powerful practice that can support you in many of the ways that you're most needing. I'm also going to be sharing with you about my book, Dear Beloved, Manifesting Love Journal, since this book can support you in creating a daily structure for yourself so that you can be engaging regularly the practices that we're talking about. Stay on until the end of the call because I'm going to be sharing a free gift with you at the end of the call. If you have any questions while I'm talking, please put those into the chat and I'm going to stay on and answer some questions at the end of the call here. And I'm just checking the chat now to see if people are letting me know that you're able to hear me. Yes, thank you very much for letting me know that. And I love seeing everyone from around the world joining us. I'm also keeping an eye on the wait room since we do still have people coming onto the call to join us. All right. So I want to invite you to turn off your phones, close the other windows on your computer, and let go of multitasking so that you can really be available for this conversation because your love life matters. Your heart matters, your desires matter. And so this conversation matters. And I would invite you to be fully available for this conversation so that you're really ready to receive what I have to offer you. I suggest as well getting a pen and paper because you're probably going to want to take some notes. And I'll be asking you a few self-reflection questions during our time together today. So you might want to have space to write down what those insights are that are coming up for you. All right. So I want to start here by sharing with you what I've seen are the biggest challenges for singles who want to find love. I've seen that many singles have had disappointments in their lives, in their love lives, that have caused them to close off and to keep repeating unhappy relationships. And I've also seen that many singles are easily overwhelmed with all the things that they could be doing to create love so that they don't know what to focus on. Some of them have even admitted to me, clients have admitted to me that they feel clueless when they come to me. They feel clueless as to what actions they might take to change their love life. And they're also feeling distracted with all the other things in their lives that they're already committed to. And this internal chaos leads to not creating the kinds of daily habits and their routines that would easily allow love to find them. This causes many singles to put love on the back burner and not be taking the kinds of consistent, regular actions that would allow a miracle to find you. And so, when the reality is that there are just a few simple practices that you can easily make a part of your daily routine, which would make it much more likely for you to call love into your life. I also find that many singles are easily feeling confused about how manifesting works because they think that it's just thinking happy thoughts or meditating regularly or writing out your desire a certain number of times, and that these simple things might change your love life and create a miracle for you. And you can do those things. And we're going to be talking about some of those things tonight, but in a new way. And I'm wondering if of these things that I've just named, things like manifesting, things like making sure you're thinking happy thoughts and being positive and focusing on what your desire is. Can you relate to doing these things for yourself? Can you relate to even the challenge that I'm saying here is the belief that those things alone are going to change your love life on their own? Let me know if you can relate to that for yourself. Because the reality here, though, is that there's a lot more that's required of you to truly be magnetic to love, to truly create a miracle in your love life and manifest love easily. There's more that's required of you. My work is based on the law of attraction. And this is the idea that we attract experiences, situations, and people into our lives based on who we're being. This means that if we want to easily manifest love, we need to shift our energy and how we're showing up in the world. One of the most essential keys to manifesting love is to get into the energy of already having love and to stay in that energy as much as possible. And then to take inspired action from that center. So the practices that we're going to be talking about here will support you to address all of the challenges that I've already named here for you. The practices will support you to expand your awareness and your belief that great love is possible for you. The practices will support you to break free from old patterns. The practices will support you to make choices in your life that will naturally move you towards the sense that love is already your lived experience. The practices will guide you to listen to your intuition and to partner with life and encourage you to follow through with real inspired actions out in the world. So let me know in the chat if this sounds like it could be helpful for you. All right. It's really helpful when I get that feedback from you and you're interacting with me in the chat. It really lets me know how things are landing for you as we move along. All right. So let's talk about some essential practices for manifesting love. The most important thing that you can do to create a miracle in your love life is to make sure that you're centered in your authentic value and connected to your true ability to create the future of love that you desire. Being centered in this deep knowing that you're worthy of this love and that you're powerful enough to change your patterns in your love life is the foundation for all of the other practices that we're going to talk about here today. The reason that this matters so much is that it's very difficult to manifest love on top of a secret fear that you're not worthy of love. And if you're going out to meet potential partners out in the dating world, but you're centered in this place of non-possibility, this is only going to create more frustrating experiences for you. And this can make everything harder than it needs to be, leading to exhaustion, self-doubt, repeating more of your unhappy relationship patterns, and possibly even giving up on love. It's normal to get triggered in response to emotional ups and downs of dating. It's normal to get triggered in response to emotional ups and downs of dating or when something doesn't go the way that you would like it to. And yet, how we respond to those situations when we're feeling nervous or self-doubt or disappointed with the way that something went, then sets up for us what happens next. So we have to really be aware of how we are creating our own reality. We are creating our own reality. And yet, for the most part, it's all happening outside of our conscious awareness. We must learn how to stay centered in the truth of our value and our worthiness to love and be loved, no matter what is happening in the outer reality around us. When we're centered in a place where we're doubting that love is possible for us, this can cause us to come to some false assumptions. False assumptions like, I must not be good enough for the kind of person that I'm interested in, or I'm never the chosen one, or love isn't safe for me, or people always leave me, or I'm always going to be alone. These are the types of assumptions that we come to when things are a struggle for us. And so these negative beliefs, these negative assumptions that we have about ourselves then affect our energy. which then affects our facial expressions, our tone of voice, our body language, our posture. And so then these negative beliefs are influencing our actions, our choices, and our behaviors with other people. So these stories that we're telling ourselves affect what we allow or don't allow into our lives. They cause us to put up walls with other people out of fear of repeating the same kinds of situations that we've experienced in our past relationships. So ultimately, these negative beliefs, these negative thoughts, then become a self-fulfilling prophecy, creating even more of what we don't want. So they create more situations where people don't make us a priority, don't choose us, don't treat us well, or even leave us. These false beliefs are just thoughts in our mind. They're not just thoughts in our mind. We think that they're just thoughts in our mind, or we think that we can talk ourselves out of them, but we can't. Because the reality is that these false beliefs, they settle into the energetic body, into our energy field, so that it becomes a felt sense in our body, a way that we start to identify who we are as a person. We assume that this is just the way things are for us. And so this is what my teacher and mentor, Catherine Woodward Thomas, author of the Calling in the One book, calls your love identity. When we're young, we tend to create concepts of ourselves in response to our early caregivers or in response to situations that were happening at that time in our lives, in our early lives. And so Catherine Woodward Thomas calls this your false love identity because this is often based on a false sense of self, where you might feel at a deep level something like, I'm not wanted, I'm not good enough. The people I like don't like me, or I'm just always going to be alone. And so this felt sense in the body then extends to our sense of self, of who we are as a person. And this is why it's called an identity, because this is how we tend to identify ourselves. This is just who I am. This is just the way things are for me all the time. This is just how people always treat me, right? And so in response to those early situations when we assumed and created that false sense of self, where we assumed that those false beliefs were true, we created coping strategies and ways of behaving and responding to situations that we weren't fully conscious of doing. And so these coping strategies might have helped us get through those difficult situations when we were young, but they're not helping us create happy, healthy love now as adults. And so when we get anxious or we experience a disappointment now as adults, the felt sense in the body gets triggered and activated again. That old false story gets activated once again, which causes the coping strategies to get activated again as well. And so this then sets in motion and recreates the same kind of relationship dynamics we experienced in our past that we've been trying to change. We've been trying to create great relationships as adults. I'm sure pretty much everyone here on the call has done a lot of self work already, right? And this is yet why it might feel very confusing that you're still struggling to create what you desire in your love life. Am I right? So this is why, though, it might feel like you keep repeating the same patterns or attracting the same kinds of people over and over in each of your relationships, because we're actually still stuck in this false center. The false love identity is what is creating these relationships for us. And so what we really need to do here is we need to do a kind of pattern interrupt and rewrite this false story that you've likely been living inside of so that you're now available for the kind of relationship that you do want in your future going forwards. So in essential practice, I'm laying out a few essential practices here that you can do on a daily basis. And so one essential practice is to be checking in with yourself daily and asking yourself, what are you believing about yourself, about how men or women feel about being in relationship with you? What are you believing about your possibility for love? This is the foundation for all of the other practices that we're going to talk about this evening. So there are a few other essential practices as well that you can engage in regularly to support you in manifesting love. And I want to share what some of those are. And yet, we're starting here talking about the true love identity because it's going to empower all of the other practices that we're going to talk about here. They're all connected. All right. So another essential practice here for manifesting love is you really want to start sensing into your connection with the greater field of life, God, universe as a higher power, so that you can partner with this energy to bring love into your life. So you need to be growing your ability to create an open dialogue with life and to hear guidance from life, to recognize the signs that are leading you to love, and to recognize how life is partnering with you daily on a regular basis. Similarly, you can also start to create a conversation with your beloved right now, even if you haven't met in the physical world yet. The reality is that you and your beloved are already connected on the spiritual plane. The connection that you share with your beloved is not constricted by time or space. And so this means that you can already open up a dialogue and a conversation with your beloved, even if you haven't met yet. And so you don't need to be in the same physical location. You don't even need to have met before for the two of you to start communicating and opening this connection now. And doing this is going to help you magnetize this person into your life quicker when you start to feel the energy of that connection alive right now. So, along with this, it's important to start to have a practice, what I call a listening practice, so that you're growing your ability to hear and understand your own intuition. So, you really want to start a practice of regularly asking yourself questions such as, what do I need to let go of today? What do I need to grow in myself today so that I might be ready to receive love? Where do I need to go today? Who do I need to talk to today? What's my next step to bring love into my life? So you see that it's important to be really listening for answers to those types of questions. You might not get answers right away, but the more that you ask these questions and listen, the more answers will come to you. This is part of building up a listening practice and also empowering your intuition. And it's also very important to follow through when you hear hits of intuition, your own inner knowing. It's very important to follow through out in the world with action. It's really important to get into action. I see many singles attempting to manifest love by doing practices like meditating or having a gratitude practice. And these are wonderful. And they're actually part of what I'm going to be suggesting here. Yet the challenge I see is that many singles are imagining that those things are enough to bring your soulmate into your life, and they're not. Those are not enough. That's a bit like thinking. If you think that just manifesting, meditating, and writing out your desire a certain number of times, or meditating or practicing a gratitude practice, if you think that that's enough to manifest your soulmate, that's a little bit like thinking that your soulmate is going to fall out of the ceiling while you're meditating on the couch. It's not going to happen, I'm sorry to say. The reality is that the law of attraction includes the word action. The law of action includes the word action. Without appropriate inspired action out in the world, your ability to manifest is limited. And so the problem for most singles is that they're getting very confused about what actions to be taking. Because this is, you need to be taking some actions probably, right? And yet it's very easy to get overwhelmed with all the things that you could be doing to change your love life. Am I right? Let me know in the chat below if you can relate to feeling overwhelmed with all the things that you could be doing out in the world to create action. Now, the reason that singles are overwhelmed with all the things that you could be doing is because you're not truly connected to your intuition for guidance, and you're not truly connected to hearing and partnering with life. So we really want to be growing our ability to partner with life, to hear the signs, to recognize the signs, to have this dialogue between you and life that will guide you and partner with you. And part of that is understanding the hits that come from your intuition about where to go, who to talk to, what activities to get involved in, right? Because I am sure that you are really willing to take action if you only knew what actions to take. Am I right? The problem yet for most singles is that they're very confused about what actions to be taking. So possibly you're starting to see here, as I'm laying all of these essential practices for manifesting love, I'm laying these all out for you. You can start to see that actually all of these practices so far that I'm sharing with you are all connected. You'll get the best results when you practice these practices regularly. You're engaged regularly with all of these. Now, one of my favorite practices, because I'm continuing here with more practices, one of my favorite practices is what I call tracking magic and miracles. The more we're expecting magic in our lives, the more we're going to find magic and the more we're going to experience miracles in our lives. Whatever we put our attention on grows stronger. And I'm sure that you know that if you follow the law of attraction. So I encourage you to get into the practice daily of tracking the magic, miracles, and synchronicities that come into your life. In order to call in love, we also want to regularly be engaging self-love and growing self-love for ourselves. As you deepen your self-love, you expand your capacity to receive love from others. Self-love is what is going to allow you to be open-hearted in your interactions with others because you're truly rooted in your own value and not seeking validations from the people that you're dating. When you know your true value, this allows you to go on a date and really know your worth and not be seeking validation from your dating partners. That's going to change the dynamic completely of that date. So this is what allows you to show up on the date fully authentic, available to understand if the person that you're dating is even really a good match for you, right? So that you're available for a meaningful connection on the date. This is what's going to allow dating to be more fun, even really. So, this is how you can attract someone who truly appreciates you for you when you're really committed to growing your sense of self love. We also want to be growing our sense of gratitude. I said I would include gratitude. So we do want to be growing our sense of gratitude for the love and abundance that we already have in our lives so that we can attract more love and abundance. Gratitude allows us to appreciate the present moment more fully. It allows us to slow down and feel more alive in the here and now. It allows us to really expand into what's possible for us. The vibrational energy of gratitude and appreciation is the closest vibrational energy to love. And since we're getting into the energy of having love, and since like attracts like, the law of attraction says like attracts like. So stepping into this energy of gratitude makes us much more magnetic to attracting greater levels of love and abundance of all kinds. So I also want to encourage you as I'm laying out the essential practices for you. And don't worry, I'm going to tie this all together at the end. So don't worry. I also want to encourage you to really make it a practice to create a wonderful life for yourself right now. Make a daily choice of actively pursuing your best life and your full potential right now, rather than expecting a beloved to come into your life and give your life meaning. The reality is that the vision that you have, this version that you have of yourself, as your best self, is the version of you that your soulmate is attracted to. So you become even more magnetic to your soulmate when you're living in alignment with your soul desires. Your soul desires is what I'm really saying you want to be pursuing to live your best life. So this might sound like a lot. Everything that I've laid out here, it might be a little overwhelming to say that I'm saying these are all the things you need to be doing to focus on in order to manifest love. I imagine, though, that you can see the benefit of doing all these things, right? And you can see how they're all connected to you manifesting a great love into your life. And yet, how do we do all this when it's a lot? It's easy to be overwhelmed by all these things. I get it. And so I imagine that you're probably wondering, actually, how can I do all this when I have obligations in my life? I have work, I have friends, I have things to focus on, right? So let me know if that question resonates for you, that you're wondering how you can actually do all this in a meaningful way in your life, right? Let me know in the chat if you would like them to know the answer to that question. And I'm happy to say that this is exactly why I wrote my book, Dear Beloved Manifesting Love Journal. But before I share more with you about the Manifesting Love Journal, I would love to guide you through one practice that can support you to connect with your true love identity and the support of life and your intuition, as well as connect with the energy of your beloved, all in one practice, right? Would that be helpful to know one practice that would help with all of those things? Okay, so it's a visioning love meditation. Let's do a visioning love meditation together right here. So if you're in a space where it's safe to do so, I invite you to close your eyes. Put everything to one side and close your eyes and take a deep breath. Breathing as if you could breathe all the way down to your hips and down to your feet. And just letting your body relax into the chair that's supporting you. Scanning your body, noticing if there's any tension anywhere. And if you find any, just see if you can breathe into that area and let it go. Feeling the support of the chair below you as evidence, evidence that life supports you. And so now, stepping back from the questions that you might have, the questions about when it will happen, who it will happen with, and why it hasn't happened yet. Stepping back from trying to figure things out. And let's turn towards the part of you that is curious about your beloved. Curious, I wonder, I wonder what it would feel like to be together with this person. I wonder, how might you finish that sentence? I wonder. I wonder what might help me meet my person. I wonder. I wonder what I might need to grow in myself in order to become ready for love. So let's imagine that this love that you've been longing for is already here right now. This person is filling your home with their love, filling your life with their love. And they're loving you exactly as you are. There's nothing to do. There's nothing you need to change. There's no one you need to become. There's nothing you need to prove. And so let's imagine, what does it feel like to be in their presence? Imagine them standing in front of you, but not their physical features. So if you see a physical person, you can just let that go. And instead, sense into the energy that you share with this person. Truly, what does it feel like to be standing in the room with your beloved a few feet in front of you, 2 feet away? Let's imagine that they could take a step towards you, and you can feel them even more. And then they take another step towards you, and you can feel them right next to you. Imagine that they pull you into their embrace, and they hug you very warmly. Imagine that you could feel them stroking your back, You can feel them stroking your hair. You can feel their cheek against yours. And you hear them whisper in your ear, "I'm so happy that I found you. The wait was so worth it." What else would you like to hear your beloved say to you? Imagine that you can hear that right now. What does it feel like to hear those words? And imagine that you could lean in and smell the scent of their freshly washed shirt and breathe that in. Imagine you could lay your head on their chest and notice how safe you feel in their arms, how supported you feel. Notice how loved you feel. And let's imagine that you're out in the world spending a perfect day together. What is it that you're doing together? What activity are you doing together? Notice that you can feel the environment around you. It might be that you're outside, for example, and you can feel the air on your skin, possibly the sun shining on your face. Imagine that your beloved reaches out to grab your hand and hold your hand. Imagine that your beloved takes your hand and turns it over, and they take your hand up to their mouth and they kiss the palm of your hand very tenderly. What does that feel like? And again, they come up from behind you and just wrap their arms around you. Notice what it's like to be enjoying this day together, where you feel so close and connected. What does it feel like to be this loved, this cherished, this adored? What can you hear in this environment where you're spending your perfect day together? What is your sense of yourself here in this vision? Who are you being in this vision now that you have love? How do you walk differently? How do you speak differently? What has changed for you now that you have love? Let's imagine that this vision of you in the future could turn around and look at the you with your eyes closed in the chair. And this future you knows all the steps that you took to get here. The future you knows how you got there. And so let's ask, what is it that I need to let go of in my life today so that I might be ready to have love? What do I need to let go of or release from my life today so that I might be ready to have love? And what do I need to grow in myself or embrace today so that I might be ready to have love? What do I need to grow in myself or embrace today so that I might be ready to have love? Who might I need to talk to that might help me meet my person? Who might I need to talk to today? Where do I need to go so that I might meet my person? Where do I need to go so that I might meet my person? What's my very next step? My very next step to bring this love into my life? What's my very next step so that I might bring this love into my life? We're just deeply listening. We're not forcing answers. We're just curious about answers. We're allowing answers. And we're accepting whether they come or not, whether the answers arrive or not. We're just allowing them. And so now we're sending out a blessing for this love. And we're saying to life, thank you so much for this beautiful love that you've brought me. Thank you so much for guiding the way, for showing me signs, for partnering with me. And thank you so much. You might even say thank you so much to your beloved for also listening to be led to you, for preparing themselves to find you, for staying open and receptive, just like you are, saying thank you for this love that we've created together. And so we bless this vision. We say yes and thank you. And so it is, and so it shall be. And when you're ready, I invite you to open your eyes and come back to the call with us. So I would love for you to share your experience of that practice in the chat. I think that's always good feedback, not for me necessarily, yes, for me, but also for the other people on the call here, right? To see all the ways that this practice might be helpful. And if you did hear any answers from your intuition about the next steps, about what there is to let go of or embrace, that's great. And if you didn't hear any answers, that's fine as well. We're not forcing answers, like I was saying a minute ago. We're not forcing answers, we're allowing answers. And the more often that you do this practice, the more effective it becomes. The more that you encourage your intuition to guide you, the more that it will. The more that you're listening and growing this listening practice, the more answers that you'll hear. So this is partly why I'm suggesting that it's an essential practice for listening about what those inspired actions might be, rather than getting overwhelmed by all the things that you could be doing. Now, as a love coach, I have worked with so many singles who deeply want to create love in their lives, and I've seen how easily they get overwhelmed. They feel confused about what actions to take, distracted by life's demands, and unsure of how manifesting truly works. And this leads many singles to put love on the back burner, unsure of how to make progress. I've seen firsthand that without simple, consistent practices, it's hard to keep focusing on having love as a priority. And that's exactly why I created my Dear Beloved Manifesting Love Journal. It's designed to simplify the process and to support you in making small, impactful daily practices a part of your routine. It helps you expand your awareness and stay grounded in the belief that love is already on the way for you. But this journal is not just about positive thinking. Again, that's a misconception, thinking just that positive thinking is going to lead your soulmate to you. It's not enough. So, this journal instead is about connecting with your intuition as a guide to guide you to taking daily inspired actions out in the world and cultivating the daily habits that will magnetize your soulmate into your life. So, I'd love to share more about this book with you. The book is called Dear Beloved, Manifesting Love Journal, The Daily Practices to Attract Your Soulmate. And so this journal creates a 13-week guided structure for you to connect with your desire for love daily. And it will support you with taking actions out in the world to bring the love into your life. And I want to show you how I have formatted the book here. So it's there's two parts that repeat. The book, it's the same practice every day. Obviously, how you engage with the practice every day is going to change daily. However, it's a repeated practice. So we have on one side the morning practice, and on one side the evening practice here. And there's also a weekly review. Before I get into some of the details about the morning practice and the evening practice and the weekly review, I also want to share with you here that at the beginning of the book, that there are pages and pages describing how to use the daily practice. What it gives some examples of what you might do in those sections for the daily practice. It explains the purpose of the different sections. There's something like 30 pages about the true love identity specifically, with examples and with stories. There are specifics about how to do a visioning love meditation. There are specifics describing to you how to do the tracking magic and miracles practice. There are specific examples of how to engage a gratitude practice and various kinds of gratitude. I think people don't necessarily know the various kinds of gratitude that you could be engaging. There's also some support for connecting with your intuition and growing the listening practice for your intuition. So there are, let's see, I believe it's about 70 pages, might be a little less. It's 50 some pages at the beginning, just describing how to use the book, how to use the daily practice here at the beginning, right? So then once we get into the daily practice itself, the morning practice is to set you up for your day to go well, centered in the right energy. Your true love identity is what we start with, right? Checking in with where are you centered? What's really true about your possibility for love? Are you centered in your authentic value? So that's one thing that we're starting with. And then there's an invitation to connect with the energy of your beloved and to start to open up that conversation right now. And again, in the instruction part at the beginning, there are some examples, there's more description and guidance about how to open up that channel of connection with your beloved every day as you're getting started. And then there are practices about connecting with your intuition so that you can know, what action should I be taking today? How do I carry this out into the world today in a way that's meaningful to me, in a way that resonates? And see, you're already connected with your value and you're already connected with the energy of your beloved. So that's really going to support you to really hear some actions that are meaningful. Then in the evening practice, right, we're looking and we're reflecting. The evening is for reflection to really see, what signs did I see today that were meaningful, that might be telling you what an opportunity is for you to follow through on. Also, there are ways to expand your self-love. Remember, we said we want to be making sure that we're making time and focusing on growing our relationship with ourself. So there's a section for acknowledging how you're really working on that. There's also a section for gratitude. I said we are doing gratitude too. It's not that we're dismissing some of these things that people think are the only things to be focusing on. We're just incorporating them into a regular ongoing practice that is one part of many other things that we're also doing. And then there's a section about connecting with your soul desires. Remember, I said that you really want to be focusing on living your best life, creating your best life now, not waiting for love to show up. The reality is, again, that that's the version of you that your beloved is attracted to. And so the more that you're getting into action about creating a meaningful life right now that lights you up, the more attractive you're going to be to your soulmate. And as well, there's a section about connecting with universe, connecting with the guidance of life, asking for guides to help you, asking for signs from life, and opening up that channel for support from life to partner with you. So this is all part of a daily practice. It doesn't have to take a long time. It can be as simple as 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes in the evening, or longer, depending on how much time you want to interact with this type of reflection on a regular basis every day. And then at the end of every week, there is what I call weekly review. And this section has questions for self-reflection so that you're really looking at how did the week go? What worked for me? What didn't work for me? And this section is designed to help you pause and acknowledge the shifts and the insights and the progress that may otherwise go unnoticed in the busyness of your life. And this is one of the things that will keep you motivated to continue with your daily practice. Another thing I often see is that many singles get stuck in black and white thinking, such as either I have my person in my life or I don't. And if that's the only way of measuring progress, it can make it a lot harder to manifest your person. Because if we can only see either my person is in my life or not, then we're really not acknowledging the progress that we're making and that we're actually getting closer. Or maybe we're not acknowledging that there were certain things that we could have done differently in a way that would have actually helped us better. And so this is the purpose for the weekly reflection, so that we have a gauge and we're monitoring what has shifted for me this week. How am I going to take this forward into my next week? And so these are regular things to be putting into practice. I've put a lot of thought into creating a structure that would best support you to really create the kind of love that you desire. I've put so much work into making sure that these are really the practices that are going to be the most meaningful. And I want to, as well, let you know that as I was writing this book, I even reached out to some of the singles in my community to have them test drive the book and really let me know and give me their feedback of working with the book. What was their experience? What did they feel wasn't clear enough? What did they feel they needed more or wanted more in this practice? So I'd like to share with you here a video of one of these people who did a test drive of the book so that you can see what she had to say. And so she shared this video with me recently, and it was after the video was done after she had only been using the book for a few weeks. I think it was 3 or 4 weeks that she had been using the book at this point. And so I would love to share with you what she has said about her experience of using this book. So let me see if I can easily do a screen share here. And we will watch this together. It's very short, this video. Oh, wait, I may not have. I think I probably did not share the sound. All these technicalities. Oh, I did. Okay, so share sound. All right, let's try this again. Try this again. And hopefully my sound is on. Is there something? unmute, unmute.
Tool. It's a companion.
Okay.
Surprised because it's not a tool, it's a companion. And it's become like a best friend that every day, in the morning I write and in the evening I write. And my writing is evolving and it's becoming clearer and clearer and clearer and clearer. And I just feel like that it's this companion, it's my best friend. We're in this together. And I'm seeing so many more of what Jennifer talks about of how life is for me and how things are happening and I'm manifesting it. And it's not giving me confidence, it's giving me knowing. And I know that I'm on the right track because it just keeps focusing me more and more and more. And my identity statement keeps getting better and better. But my one today is I am lovable, loved, and loving. And it's just it's like now I can really feel it now in my body. And these practices have just been amazing. The journaling and what it's showing me is this mirror of my value. Every day I read it and I write it, it's mirroring my value to me. So it's very much a two-way street. I know that may sound silly because it's you're writing it, but it really feels very alive and expanding for me. My life is exciting now, and meeting people and it's already here. It's already here. And I'm not saying it's perfect because I'm on two dating sites and someone will stop communicating with me and I'm like, oh, that just means there's somebody else's match and they're clearing the way for my match. So it's really shifted my focus and my perception of this whole process of love coming my way. It's so fun right now doing this. I'm so grateful to have it.
Hmm. All right. I love hearing what Jane said here about her experience of using the book after just a few weeks, especially because she's describing how alive the experience is. That is what I meant for this to be. I meant for it to be alive, that you're actually engaging with it and partnering with life. Like she's describing it as a companion, that it's her best friend, and that it's fun. And this is exactly what I meant for this book to be, this experience to support you with, so that manifesting love is fun. It doesn't have to be this difficult thing. It doesn't have to be a chore. It doesn't have to be this experience where you feel clueless about what to do next. And instead, it helps you manage the ups and downs. Like I love that she even shared that someone disappeared, that she was connecting with online, and she easily just let them go and said, "Oh, I guess they're not my person. Mine's someone else." And that is exactly what we need to do with if we're going to be manifesting love in a powerful way. We need to learn how to stay on the path no matter what the ups and downs are of dating. And yet so many singles experience some kind of disappointment and then they get taken off the path and they get really discouraged. And this book is going to help you stay connected to your possibility for love so that you manifest love faster. Yes, yes, yes. Exactly. I also want to let you know you can easily get this book on Amazon. It's available on Amazon. And right now, I have reduced the price so that you can get this book on Amazon for only $11.99 until Sunday. After Sunday, it's going to go up to its regular price of $15.99. So why not save a few dollars and get it now, right? I'm going to put the link to the book into the chat, but you can easily look up the book on Amazon. Again, the book is Dear Beloved, Manifesting Love Journal, The Daily Practices to Attract Your Soulmates. And it's meant to be, the journal is meant to be a sacred space, a hands-on practice where your heart's deepest desires are nurtured and brought to life through the book. And for this reason, the paperback version, although you can get it as an ebook, as an electrical book, but the paperback version will provide the fullest experience since you can write directly in the book. I mentioned as well that I would be sharing with you a gift if you stayed on until the end of the call. So I do want to let you know that I have a recorded version of the Visioning Love meditation. It's slightly different than what we did today because today I was improvising in the moments, but the recorded version is wonderful and I've had a lot of great feedback from that. And so you're going to be added to my email list. And in the first email that you get from me, if you're new to my email list, there's going to be a link to the recorded Visioning Love meditation. So please do be on the lookout for that email and the meditation. And I would love to hear how that meditation works for you and your experience of the meditation. And so I'm also going to be sending you an email as well, just letting you know what the that you can watch the replay of this session tonight. And again, with a link to the book. I would love to have you be one of the people that gets results from my book and let me know how it goes for you, right? Also, I'm going to stay on here a few minutes. I mentioned to take any questions if you have questions for me. Let's see. I'm just scrolling back up to see what people have put in the chat here. Let's see. So I see we have Beth from Michigan. I'm not sure if you're still here on the call, Beth, but you mentioned going through a recent divorce, and I understand that is something that you want to get through before you're quite ready to start dating. And yet, it's important to know that your next relationship doesn't start when you meet your next person. It starts with how you end the current one that you're ending. And so we want to end it mindfully. And this is partly why I'm also a certified conscious uncoupling coach because I know sometimes when you're on the path to finding your one, you meet someone and you think that they're the one, and then later they turn out to not be the one. And the sooner that we can let go of that relationship in a healthy way, the sooner you can get back on track to creating an even better relationship in your next relationship. So if you're interested in coaching of that kind to support you at this time, reach out and let me know. I'm here for you. Let me see what else people have put into the chat. So we have someone who is only listed as Zoom user. Zoom user, it looks like you're still here. Welcome. And so you said, how about you? Are you too old? You are not too old for sure. In fact, I have one woman who is 69 who has recently done the 8-week Calling in the One course with me. And she, during our 8 weeks together, she's manifested several amazing dates with great men. And she's now dating one that she thinks might be the one. And she's continuing to evaluate and get to know him. And she's very excited about where it's going. So you are not too late, no matter how old you are. Maybe you're even older than 69, which is fine. There is no age limit to finding love. Isn't that the good news? We have a lot of people that say things that are acknowledging, yes, it's easy to get overwhelmed. Yes, it's easy to feel confused about what actions to take. I get it. I understand. And you're not alone, which is why you're here on the call. And I do suggest creating a daily practice for yourself. And the book is going to make it so easy for you to have this kind of regular daily practice and focus on the things that really matter, the things that make a difference. All right. All right. So it's been an honor to be here with you this evening, and I do look forward to having you in my community going forwards. I encourage you to get the book. Let me know how it goes. You could be the next success story that I share about. All right. That's all I have to share with you for tonight. Bye for now.